Mr. President, I rise to say we need a sense of urgency about solving the fiscal cliff. We need to end the culture of delay in this institution. I'm very concerned that as we talk about solving the problems of the fiscal cliff, there is this whole dynamic going on. There's this whole patina going on. There is this whole, from staff level to senators, it's, oh, we're going to be here to Christmas Eve. I think that is a disaster. I think it's a disaster for our economy. I think it's a disaster for our demonstration on our ability to govern. And I think it's a disaster for our standing in the world. We need to show that we can govern ourselves and we can put ourselves on a sound fiscal path with the right combination of growth, frugality, and ensuring a safety net to the most vulnerable of our citizens. So I'm here to say to my colleagues from throughout, on both sides of the aisle, both sides of the dome, and even the White House, let's get the job done. Mr. President, I propose let's really conscientiously work hard to make sure that we have a framework that we could vote on, Mr. President, by the weekend of December 16th. Why do I want December 16th as a deadline? It's Saturday. You yourself have tweeted about, oh, let's have Saturday as Small Business Week. We've had Cyber Mondays. Let's have a strong economy closing of the week before Christmas. I can tell you, Mr. President, I'm finding, I really can't.
Senator will suspend.
I'm ready to extend all courtesies to every senator.
The senator from Maryland has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. My point is this. If we show that we could govern and actually pass a bill by Saturday, December 16th, that really does exactly what I said, show that we have a sense of frugality and are on a path forward with solving our issues around debt. But we also have the elements that promote growth and ensure a safety net for the most vulnerable. We could do three things. We could show that we could govern. That would really be very big in the public's mind, that we could govern ourselves. It would be important to the public, and it would be important to the world, particularly those that lend us money. It would be an enormous sense of boosting consumer confidence. 10 days before Christmas, 9 days before Christmas, we would show that we are on the way to solving our problems, and for those who are benefit from either federal employment or contracts with the federal government, there would be stability in their employment. I can also tell you that the stock market would either not, we would have a floor on the stock market, and we might even have a jump in the stock market. Just 1/3 of the Americans believe Congress can be counted on to behave like responsible adults. Only 1/3 of the people do that. They've seen no compromise or cooperation. They've seen lip service. We need not to be trading pet rocks over what we need to do, and we shouldn't throw them either. We've got to come together, both sides of the aisle, both sides of the dome, with the White House. We do not lack in ideas. The content for a solution is not new. We've had excellent people working on this. We've seen Simpson Bowles in a report, Domenici Rivlin, wise heads giving us good ideas. We've had the super committee that fleshed out a lot of these issues and know where the disagreements are. We've had the gang of 6. We've had the gang of 8. Let's get to the gang of 100 and pass this bill. I'd be happy with the gang of 51. Now, I want to be sure that we know, because we do know the ideas. We don't lack in ideas. We need to lack in will and momentum to get this job done. Now, my principles are simple and straightforward. One, let us have a sense of urgency. Number two, Make sure that when we look at cuts, that we count the cuts that we've already done. For example, the $900 billion we've done in the Budget Control Act. We also want, because that would also include the $450 billion that we've done in defense spending, the kinds of issues we've talked about here. And let's also count the $500 billion that we did in reforming Medicare during health care reform. We've had good words. Now we need good deeds and swift action. Just think what it would mean to reach an agreement by December 16th. Americans could see that we would work together. Think about the energy that this would unlock to avoid a sequester. Think about what a signal this would be to middle-class people on Main Street and also the people on Wall Street, because business would have certainty, we would have consumer confidence, and we could have a new self-confidence about ourselves that we could govern. Mr. President, you and I represent a great state. It has, Mr. President, since I was interrupted so many times, I ask unanimous consent to be extended for 2 extra minutes.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. President, we represent a state that has the innovation economy, from both the federal government and its great federal labs like NIH to its great national security areas like the Cyber Command at Fort Meade. Yes, they would be devastated by a sequester. So would our contractors, both defense and in civilian. Great iconic institutions like Hopkins would take a big hit in not only research and development, but in providing care to the needy, care to the desperate who come from all over the country to get the help for a sick child or an aging relative, or to get eyesight restored at the Wilmer Eye Clinic. Sure, I'm standing up for jobs in Maryland, but I'm here trying to stand up for America. We need to show we can govern, and we cannot wait until December 24th, that somehow or another this is going to be Santa Claus, because if we don't act soon, we're going to get rocks in our socks, and I think they would be well deserved. Mr. President, I yield the floor.